Welcome, and thanks so much for clicking on today's video. Today is Wednesday. We are giving some information into Thursday. We're going to give you those updated daily expected moves. We're going to talk about the SPY, the Qs, IWM, and volatility. Now, the good part about the state of the market right now is across the board on all those indices, they're all doing roughly the same thing. So pretty much we're just going to be repeating and giving you the critical levels for each of those indices and then talking about volatility as well. And that will be very similar to what's going on with the SPY, QQQs, and stuff like that. It won't be too confusing in this video, so I hope you do find this video helpful. Today, overall, we had a big expected move, right? We had big expected moves, but we overall sat in the middle, which tells you that the market makers probably raked it in. Most likely, people on both sides were able to lose money, right? It's kind of a dead day to kind of mess with the options there, to kind of say, hey, nobody was right today. So as of right now, your daily expected moves for tomorrow, 683.81 to the upside, 668.85 to the downside. What can we easily say about the 2-hour chart? The same thing we said right here can be said right over here. If the 2-hour chart on the MACD is able to curl down, if I see a red bar start to pop up on this histogram, just like we did right here, then I have to treat the market as risky. You are currently in some sort of downtrend. You've heard me say just in the last couple of videos, the critical level to take out is this 687 high, right around this area. Have we taken that out? No. We're looking for something like this, but as of right now, the 30-minute chart is what we're watching. So the 2-hour chart, if that crosses down in negative territory, test the low, go make a new one. Your daily expected move downside, though, suggesting 668.85 for tomorrow. But if that 2-hour crosses down, the market is in a risky spot. You can go all the way down to your monthly expected move. And we're going to talk about this over the weekend, so I'll mention it really quickly. We already have tagged the monthly expected move, my apologies, but we have already tagged on the dot the monthly expected move for the SPX 500, so the futures, but are we going to do that in the SPY? If we're going to tag that actually showing in the SPY, then this is how you would do it. You would roll that 2-hour on the MACD, and that's where this thing comes risky. You'll watch out for divergences and things like that as well for any kind of trap, and I'll be mentioning those on this channel. So thank you so much for subscribing and liking the video so more people are able to see this information, whereas we're just trying to be helpful, guys. The good part is for the bulls, you have something to discuss as well. So that was kind of for the bears. That's the bearish roll again. We're in a downtrend, very simple, but the 30-minute MACD was able to go positive, very positive, to the point where you have these great buyers in here. So we were suggesting for today, the most probable thing to happen would be we dip down into those buyers, and then we can find them and curl back to the upside, maybe even make a move to the weekly expected move by the end of the week, right? If you take an equal measurement from where we're at right now, say you get a confirmation tomorrow, look, you're going directly to that weekly expected move. If it's an equal size move, we're going to watch for tricks and traps like divergences and stuff here too, though, in case that 2-hour is able to roll, right? We want to look for those hints. Very, very simple, though. If the 2-hour crosses down, the market is very risky of seeing another new low. But if the 30-minute is able to cross up right now, then that means we could potentially test this high and go make a new one. Your upward expected move, 683.81, is suggested for tomorrow. If you see a second standard deviation move, that could take you all the way to that weekly expected move, crazy enough. So as of right now, very, very simple look here from the SPY. If the 30-minute curls up, good for the bulls. If the 2-hour curls down, overall would be suggested initially, right? Initially, you would say good for the bears. Now, we're going to talk about IWM in a moment to discuss a few things like divergence to the downside there. Very interesting for the 2-hour chart. Let's look at the Qs. Excuse me. 614.79 to the upside, 659 to the downside. Those are your daily expected moves. Remember, these get tagged about 75% of the time. You will tag one of these levels each and every day. And remember this about those weekly or daily expected moves as well. They are 68% zones, not 100%. If they were 100%, we'd all be very, very rich. So what can we notice here about the Qs? Great move to the upside. So great that you were able to take out this level. We're going to talk about that on the 2-hour chart. So for the bulls, very simple here. You want to dip down into these good buyers. Can you dip lower into those buyers? Yes. Did we touch those buyers today? Yes, you did, with a couple of wicks there. So this tells us that what? If we see that lagging indicator, right? Overall, I'm taking like a 2-hour trade to the upside if this takes place, right? If the 30-minute confirms up. So if I'm using the 30-minute for a 2-hour trade, if I'm using the 30-minute for hints, I can easily wait on the lagging indicator being the MACD, because as of right now, you have a confirmation with the price coming above that 9 on the 30-minute, the red line there, and you have a confirmation with that RSI. But I do not have it on the MACD. This saved you if you were doing this right over here, right? When we said, hey, this is the other area we could try to take care of a gap and then see if we're able to curl to the upside. Never saw a curl up from the MACD, and look how that saves you. Waiting for the lagging indicator has helped me out a lot. Because I am overall taking a 2-hour trade, I can use that 30-minute MACD even if it's lagging behind just a little bit. So for now, you would say, what happens if this 30-minute is able to cross up? Well, for the bulls, that would mean if we see a good positive bar in the morning, test the high, go make a new one, that would be at your 614.79 level. But we also know the other side too. The bear side is this. If the 2-hour crosses down, where is it right now in that MACD? It is right by the center line, which means we can always go test that low, go make a new one. But as of right now, we're seriously watching that 30-minute because we did just take out this high. So even on the 2-hour, even though you're in some sort of, say, downtrend very slightly here for the Qs and in an overall range where you're still getting tighter and tighter on the, say, the daily scale, where you're very likely to see an expansion type move soon, you have taken out this high, suggesting that if you carve out a higher low here, that we could see a full 2-hour move to the upside to start things off. Then we would expect some kind of pullback down into that area. But just because we expect it does not mean it has to happen. Remember that IWM here already at its monthly expected move. Remember IWM took out this level. We said that was risky if that happens. Left, head, right shoulder starts to pop up. So we're looking still potentially for a counter move over here to make that right shoulder, even if we're going to end in the bearish direction. And we're going to watch this very carefully because it doesn't have to be a right shoulder. We're going to see if that right shoulder fails to roll. That's just a good thing to do. At the daily side, daily expected is 257.29 to the upside, 248.41 to the downside. Once again, where is the 2-hour chart? Where's the 2-hour MACD? It's in negative territory. So if that crosses down, test the low, potentially go make a new one. But you have, this is why we put out monthly expected moves, weekly expected moves, daily expected moves so often, right? We do it all the time, once a month. We give you those monthly expected moves completely for free here on YouTube, so make sure you're subscribed. We give you the daily expected moves for these indices almost every single day. We give you weekly expected moves every single weekend. Why do we do that? Those are actual calculated, that is data behind it. That is the options market pricing in certain moves, and they get tagged a lot of the time. Look at that reaction. Look at the reaction from the SPX 500 off of its monthly expected move. Very, very critical to have these levels. It really does give you a heavy edge, and make sure that you are understanding them before you try to trade around them. So we're going to talk about how to trade around them in a moment here, actually right now. If the 2-hour crosses down, I got to treat that as risky, right? How do we make a new low? How do we see something crazy? Well, when you see something crazy, that means the options market is taken off guard. So would the options market be taken off guard if we rolled right here on the 2-hour chart and we saw some kind of crash? Of course they would be. But what most of the time will happen is, most of the time the options market isn't taken off guard. Most of the time, especially when you're early on in the month, like say maybe 11 days into the month, tomorrow 12 days into the month, you can roll down to these areas. Everyone makes those big bearish bets, and they're right. They're saying, hey, something crazy can happen here. That's perfectly fine, but I never start a position at this area, right? If you're starting maybe a position on the initial cross down, I get it, but I heavily emphasize watching for divergences, watching especially for 2-hour divergences down here by this monthly expected move. That will be very, very important because that is kind of a trap setup. That being said, we still have the same language here. If the 2-hour crosses down, that is very risky for this market, and volatility will prove that in a moment as well. But overall, what are all these indices doing? They're all coming down into their good price action level, those good buyers from a day or two ago, I think a day ago, or Monday. And then if they curl up into positive territory, what's likely to happen? Test the high, go make a new one. We'll watch out for divergences. But for now, you would say test the high, go make a new one. That means positive trend on the 30-minute can get the bulls out of this if they can hold a positive trend for long enough. Have we confirmed on this MACD for the IWM? You have not. You have confirmed with price. You have confirmed with the RSI, but the lagging indicator has not at this point. So you still are being patient, or at least I am for the time being, looking very closely into tomorrow morning. That's very, very critical to be patient with IWM. It has broken a critical level. So if you're going to take a bullish trade at some point, you need to have Plenty of reasons behind that. Always, you know, you guys know how I like to say things. I at least like to have 3 to 5 reasons behind any kind of argument for a trade. I need 3 to 5 reasons. Right now, if you wanted to suggest I have 1, I have maybe 2, but hey, I'm waiting on what? Maybe I'm waiting on 3 as of right now. If you even go look at DIA, it's doing the exact same thing. Now, DIA is tapping into the absolute lowest point for those good buyers, but still close to the center line. So you do have a pretty easy way to look at the market right now. Hey, if the 30-minute confirms to the upside, we're likely to go to the upside daily expected move. If the 2-hour confirms down, then upward plays are risky, right? It's kind of hard to be like, yeah, I'm going to hold on to my calls when a 2-hour MACD crosses down and you're starting to see selling. So I just wanted to point that out. Let's go talk about volatility. Real quick on the 30-minute chart, you notice that we're trying to roll this as of right now. We'll see if that's able to continue, but if the 30-minute crosses up, we are at risk of still seeing that 2-hour move to the upside. And even if we go down and we break this previous low, we actually break it, you could see this nice ABC, get a nice reaction to give you a good lower high, right? Still looking for the lower high from volatility. It doesn't have to be there all the time, especially if this is a very, like, say, we just get crazy news or something like that. But overall, you know, something you can take away from volatility is what would be risky, right? What's the risky thing? What did we say over here? And can we utilize that right here, right? Over here, we were suggesting, hey, watch out for the lower high, watch out for divergence. But we popped off. So you're going, oh, no, we didn't see the divergence. We didn't see the lower high. What the heck's going on here? Well, the point is, did I lose money because of any of my analysis? That's the big point, because the whole reason we were paying attention to this, if it crossed up, was because it was by the center line. So if the volatility curls up on the 2-hour by that center line, I don't want to be in calls or anything like that. That means volatility is increasing. Most likely we're seeing selling. Can we do the same thing here, right? Can that save me from making a bad decision? Well, look where that MACD is. So even though we're trying to roll on the 30-minute, if that whips back up, the 2-hour can whip back up with it. The 2-hour can go carve out a divergence, carve out a lower high. That would be your sign that, hey, this market is very likely bottoming. But for now, you would say, hey, I don't know if when that 2-hour curls up, it's going to sky through or go through the sky just like it did right here. So if the 2-hour curls up here, it is very risky for the bulls at that point. 30-minute though, trying to roll negative. You'll see if that is able to reverse around early on tomorrow. Okay, so as of tomorrow, these are the things that I'd be looking for to keep it very, very simple, because you guys know I even have a tattoo to describe it. Hey, the simplest answer is usually the best answer. If the 30-minute can curl up here, then I would say a move to 683.81 makes total sense for tomorrow. But the risky thing about that is if the 2-hour crosses down, then I have to say test the low and go make a new one. And I'm going to keep it as simple as that. Hey, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you for watching to the end. I really do appreciate it, so you can take in the full point of the analysis, right? Including volatility. Watching all the way to the end to get VIX is very important. It can tell you a lot to really confirm any kind of argument you're having about certain signals. So thank you for watching to the end. I really appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day, all right? And look for more updates on Patreon during market hours or on YouTube at night, all right? Peace out, guys.